morning. Here we are at the beginning of April, and we've been granted probably at least another 30 days to be home. And so this would be as good of time as I can ever imagine for you to begin a home yoga practice. If you've been practicing yoga with me for a long time, one of the greatest challenges students suggest is finding a space, time, and dedication to beginning a ritual of yoga. And by a ritual, I mean something that you're showing up for consistently every day. Ideally, you're showing up at the same time every day, at the same place, and you're showing up for yourself. Okay, this is your time for you. And I'm going to teach you how to set up the opportunity for you to do that. Your yoga practice may look like yoga asanas. Those are the postures. The postures are so overplayed. Okay, the postures as we see yoga today really are very, very new. They are effective for preparing the body and the mind for meditation. Okay, they have a number of health benefits. The postures are wonderful, but they are overplayed. Nevertheless, I'm going to show you some tips on what to wear and what you need to start practicing the postures. The postures I think of as the entry point into the practice of yoga. This is how we get started. Most of us, we all get on a yoga mat or on a bath towel or a beach towel, and we start to stretch and we start to feel more comfortable. And then suddenly we are in a position where we can sit more comfortably and tall for meditation. And that's really what yoga is all about. Getting to a place where we can begin to concentrate, focus our mind, quiet our thoughts. We're not going to stop thinking. That's basically impossible. We're all thinking all the time. But over years of practice, you start to notice the patterns that you have with your thoughts and with your emotions, and we can start to harness them and rein them in. My ideal would be that each of you began a meditation practice. And so do a few of the poses that I'm putting up. A few days ago, I was in my labyrinth and I shared with you Sun Salutation A. You can do Sun Salutation A, B, that'll come in a few days in the morning. It's great for beginners because it is a sequence that is very orderly. You can learn those poses. It would take less than 10 minutes to do that 3 to 5 times. And that practice, just like the moon salutation, that's more of a vinyasa yoga. Vinyasa means it's a flowing practice, okay? This is like a dance of yoga where there's postures and we're putting them together with breath and we're creating this dance. That is really nice for many people. The way I teach yoga in a studio is alignment yoga. In alignment yoga, you're going to use props. So I'm bringing the floor to you so that you can align your body to reap the best health benefits, to protect your spine, to help you gain access. For most of us, we're inflexible in some area, so we want to gain access to a number of poses and start to open our body, start to strengthen our body. And what happens is you start to notice your mind was quiet. And that's really the beautiful thing of yoga asana. We do these postures and suddenly we notice things about our breath practice, pranayama, and we start to notice that our minds can become quieter. We start to notice our habits. We start to notice things about our body that we were unaware of. So yoga every day starts to shed this new light of awareness on what's happening with you. So what do you need? Let's get started. Before students arrive at a yoga class, they often call me or send me a text message and ask what they should wear. And I just say, wear something comfortable, something you can move in. I'm going to show you a few options. When I did a yoga series of photos and video out in the labyrinth the other day, I actually wore my my wedding, funeral, and holiday outfit. It is a black romper that looks great. It's very loose, so I can move freely in it. That's the point of that outfit, is that I can move very comfortably, very freely. I can get my knee towards my nose if I needed to without my pants ripping. So that's what should be important to you. And I'm really comfortable in it, and I don't fall out of it in any way that would be, you know, something I wouldn't want to happen. That would be embarrassing. So I have this black romper. Okay, I don't teach in this outfit. I teach in a pair of yoga pants, generally. Yoga pants or tights are great, especially for teachers, because you want to be able to see what my legs are doing. You want to be able to see the shape and the form that we're trying to create in the postures. So you'll see right now I have kind of just actually it's an undershirt, but it's like a ballet top. And when I extend my arm, you can see what's happening. If I was in a really loose shirt like that other outfit I mentioned, I feel comfortable. I love practicing like that in my home practice. But when I'm teaching, I'm not wearing tight clothes because I'm so excited about my 45-year-old body in front of everyone. I'm wearing tight clothes so that you can see clearly the shapes that we're making and how the body is aligned. Okay, so that's the purpose of the yoga pants. They also are really effective for staying in place. When I have a pair of yoga pants on and my legs are up the wall, my pants aren't falling down, I'm not messing around with trying to adjust. So tight fitted clothes really work effectively for staying in place. You can move the body without the clothes getting in the way. What I'm wearing today are a pair of pajama bottoms or lounge pants that I've been wearing for many, many years. And often you'll find me in this awesome t-shirt. It's, again, fitted. It doesn't come up when I'm doing a handstand. It stays in place and I'm comfortable. That's what I want you to feel. And when you're practicing at home over the next month or however long and you're exploring this, what a great time to explore clothes. What clothes work for you at home? And would that work for you if you were to show up at a studio class? Put on a pair of running pants, put on some joggers, or maybe your favorite pants from work. We can do many things in those clothes, but would you want to show up and really be comfortable and be able to move your body in the clothes that you choose? Likewise with your hair. You know, you can wear your hair down, you can wear it up, you can wear a ball hat. What happens? So become curious and explore what happens when you wear your body in different attire. What happens when you pull your hair up versus wear it down? If I have my hair in a bun and I do a headstand, it might hurt. However, it is very effective for other times. So check it out, see what happens. Okay, before a student comes to a class, they will ask me, what do I need to bring? If you're coming to a studio class, you need to bring nothing. If you're practicing at home, you might find it more enjoyable to have something. Okay, this could be, if you're home and you're not going to be ordering a yoga mat this week, you know, you could grab a beach towel and throw it down. It's going to be a little slippy, but it will work. Okay, you can practice right out on the earth. It's going to be more challenging for balance, but it will work. So when you come to a class, though, here's what you'll have. I'm going to provide you with a high quality yoga mat. I use Manduka yoga mats because I have a latex allergy. These don't have latex. That's simply my choice. They're high quality and durable. They last really nicely. You could grab a $10 or $20 mat at any local store, and that's going to be great for you for a while. As you practice longer, you might want to have a high quality mat. I love Manduka. My husband uses a jade mat. Jade is more like a natural rubber that he's able to use. So there's many brands out there. A high quality mat is a great investment. When you come to the studio, I'm going to provide you with a strap. The strap is so that if my legs are extended or my arms are coming behind my back, I can bridge that gap. So if I want to touch my toes and my back is rounding, this is not going to be as valuable for my body as if I had a strap. I provide straps, and if you're buying one, I recommend one with a D-ring. It looks like this. You pull it and you can change the length really quickly from short to long, because if I'm catching my foot, I want to be able to have my practice and my equipment grow with me. You're home, you don't have a strap, that's not in your budget, no problem. I have a dog leash with this great end. We have 1,000 neckties and belts and things around our house that also work well for bridging the gap between limbs. I'm going to give you 2 blocks. I use cork, but I also have wood. We know that there's foam. There's a number of blocks out there. What are they for? The block is going to bring the floor to you. Okay, I'm going to stand up. You're not going to be able to see my face. If I'm doing triangle pose and I try to touch the floor and I have this curve here, then I can bring this block under my hand and that curve starts to go away. And if I'm still really gaining flexibility, maybe I'm still pretty tight, I could use many blocks. I may also sit on the block to bring my rear into a more comfortable position for meditation or various postures. So there's a number of ways that we use the block to support the body and again to rise the floor up to meet us rather than us trying to touch the floor. Trying to touch the floor, if you're a really flexible person and have tight legs, trying to touch the floor can be very discouraging. I don't expect my students to come to yoga flexible. I expect them to come to yoga with enough humility and a flexible enough mind that they can grab 1 or 2 or 3 blocks or a chair, bring their hand to that, and feel their body in the posture the way it's meant to be felt. And as they continue to become more flexible, they can continue to move in the direction of the floor. So our practice, with daily practice, that will grow over time. 2 blocks are nice. 1 block is sufficient. If you don't have blocks, you could use a pile of books. I use my hearth a lot in front of my fireplace. A chair is wonderful. Those are the things that you're going to use. If you come to a yoga class with me, you'll get a bolster. A bolster is effective for raising our hips up for meditation and for doing restorative yoga postures. You might have seen this posture where I have this reclining. It becomes like a little sofa. I'm able to lie back and open my heart across the bolster. I can create space for pranayama or deep breathing with the bolster. It's one of my favorite ways. A lot of us, if we have a lot of muscle in the front body, we can get really forward moving and our chest can become compressed. I use the bolster to slowly open through back bending, open my chest. And then over time, my breathing is enhanced and supported. So I'm gaining flexibility in the physical body that then creates space for my lungs to expand and open. The bolster, great multi-purpose item. You could substitute a firm couch cushion for a bolster. You could also roll up a variety of blankets. So we get to blankets. I use Mexican blanket. This is kind of like one of those like hippie rug type blankets. They're pretty common in yoga classes, not too expensive. You can order them online or grab them at a store. These are great. You could stack a couple of these up and use them in place of a bolster. Something else you can use is a wool blanket. We use these a lot in restorative. I actually, during this video, have been sitting on one to raise my seat so that I'm comfortably sitting on the floor with my hips higher than my knees. So a wool blanket. And this one was like, it's like an army type camping blanket. However, you know, yoga sells everything. It's become this business. You can find yoga wool blankets anywhere. That same website, Manduka, they have some great gray blankets, and that's what I provide in the studio, but I'll provide a resource list, and you can go shopping while you're home and fill up your yoga space. So speaking of a yoga space, where should you set this up in your house? This is a good time for you to try different locations and see what works for you. My students will say, oh, but I have pets, but I have kids, but nobody leaves me alone. Okay, I get that. Let's try to find a place where you can be alone for 5 or 10 minutes, and maybe you won't be alone, and maybe they'll join you, and that might be okay. But in a room where a door shuts can help. Okay, I have 4 kids and 2 dogs and 2 cats and a tortoise. I get it. And a husband. Okay, people walk in and it's awkward for you, and it also is disruptive. And notice how you feel about that. Learn about it, but also set up a sacred space for yourself. So I've brought you into my bedroom today because although I own a yoga studio, often I practice in my bedroom. My bedroom has a hardwood floor, but also a rug in the center, so I can do some of the recline poses lying on the rug, and my back is more comfortable. I can use the hardwood floor with my mat on it. You know, you want to have a firm surface. When you choose the room, you don't want to have some big 70s crazy rug that's super cushy. It's going to feel nice when you're lying down. It's not going to be supportive when you're standing. We want to have a hard surface, a very thin, if you have carpet, you know, a thin, firm carpet that you're putting your yoga mat down on. We're not stacking up blankets and rugs and things to stand on. That's going to create instability. So I'm in my bedroom. I have a great floor. I roll out my yoga mat. I want to notice if there are things that are distracting my attention. Okay, if you try to practice yoga in your bedroom, and this is where you throw down your bag from the office with the work that you needed to do while you're home, or you have 3 baskets of laundry and a number of other things that are going to be pulling your attention away from your practice, you're not going to be able to enjoy it as well. Okay, so I really encourage you to take the time to find a corner of your home that you can clear the space of. It takes very little space. You can grow that space into a room, into maybe something different. But for now, just find a corner, clear the space. I have a window because, like I've told you before, it's really important to me to be near nature. So I meditate in this space quite often. It's lovely for me, okay? And this is a space where I'm not thinking about work. If I practice my daily practice in my studio, I'm thinking about my work. If I practice in my office, I am thinking about the work that's pulling me out of my yoga practice. This is my personal place, and I do quite a bit to make this place clear, sacred, and this to be my time. So good luck identifying that place. Okay, so as you start practicing at home, and whether you're a beginner or advancing, you might want to have some resources. And like I started to say at the beginning of the video, yoga is an ancient practice. Of course, we all know it was developed in the country of India. It's not a religion, okay? You're not going to be going against your church and your religion by doing yoga, okay? I use Sanskrit terms as well as English terms to honor the tradition of the practice and to also help you understand where the poses come from. Why are they called that? It's just a good opportunity to educate and grow. There are all kinds of practices that happen, and while this can be very spiritual and become very devotional and dedicated, I don't feel, in my experience and the way I teach, that I'm going against anyone's religion, okay? In India, there is a tradition of Buddhism and Hinduism and a number of other things. And of course, some of the practices and terms are pulled from those traditions, but they're not associated as a religious practice. Okay, so that's a common misconception. The best way to grow your knowledge of what yoga is and isn't and how to do the postures is to grab some great resources or books. The first book that I want to recommend is called this 30 Yoga Poses or 30 Essential Yoga Poses. It's by a teacher named Judith Lasater. I've recommended this book and sold it for years because it is wonderful. It has 30 practices. It's going to show you how to use the equipment that I've shared with you today. And at the end of each of these books, you can open it up and there are sequences. That's important. And if you're a beginner, you want sequences that have pictures because you will get lost in the Sanskrit words. Okay, so having these pictures is so helpful to know how to do things. You don't have to do 20 yoga poses. You can do 2. You could do 1, and then the next day you do 1 more. Okay, do a pose and do it right. Just have this be something you're learning. So we have 30 essential yoga poses. The next book that I would recommend is called Yoga the Iyengar Way. This is a great beginner's book, and it's a book that can grow with you. And I will place this on a resource list for you. This is Yoga the Iyengar Way. I'm a student of Iyengar yoga, and this is an alignment-based practice. Light on Yoga is a book that I have multiple copies of. I always think of this as a book that you can grow with through advanced studies, but it can be intimidating when you first get it, so you have to be easy on yourself. So this is a great first intro into Iyengar yoga, and then this one is like that resource that you never get tired of. I want to provide you with another book by Judith Lasater, Relax and Renew. Relax and Renew is a book that is entirely restorative yoga. Judith Lasater is the person for restorative yoga. This is a book you'll want to have if you're looking to find some of the more renewing, relaxing properties. A great all-around book, Yoga, Mind, Body, and Spirit by Donna Fahri. And I hope that I said her name right. This gives a really great summary of yoga as a whole, postures, breath. It's a wonderful book. And the reason I grabbed that book is because many clients that I have will talk to me about anxiety and how yoga can help. And they're always surprised the emphasis on breathing. Your breath is going to affect your body, your mind, and your spirit so deeply. And so Donna Fahri, the same author, wrote this. It's called The Breathing Book. And I recommend this book frequently. I use her inquiries from that book in my teaching because altering your breath can alter your life in so many ways. It's been really a very deep part of my yogic journey. I had very shallow, contracted breathing, problems in a variety of ways with breath. And opening my body and being able to notice what's happening with my breath. If I was limiting my breath to the upper chest, was creating a lot of panic and anxiety, deepening the breath and exploring some of those practices is really great. And those practices are called pranayama. A recent book that has been published is The Yoga of Breath by Richard Rosen. And this is just the practices of pranayama. So if breath is important to you, grab this book. Maybe that's a place you want to go deeper. When we start to practice body and breath work for an extended amount of time, you're going to notice a shift in the quality of your life, the state of your mind, your concentration, your focus, the way that your emotions and moods are managed. This is living mindfully, and I think of that as meditation through everyday life. Meditation is why we're doing these things. We're trying to get to a place where we're living more mindfully. And I only chose one book for meditation because I'm going to include a website. I love teaching meditation. Maybe who knows how long we're going to be home. Maybe a whole meditation class will be relaunched online, but you can use insighttimer.com, sign up for an account, free resource with lots of meditation for you to explore. We have this book by Sharon Salzberd called Real Happiness. This book comes with a CD. Maybe now it comes with like the ability to download an audio. This is a great beginner's meditation book. One of my students just recommended a book called, I think it's called Just Sit. She really enjoyed that. But there are many meditation books out there. Problem with books is that you can gain a lot of knowledge, but where you really gain from meditation is the practice of sitting. So you just have to sit and notice what happens. When you sit in meditation, things come up emotionally, mentally. You might get flooded with thoughts and worries and ideas. That is normal. You notice, and maybe you have a journal and you write down, I sat today for 2 minutes, and I showed up and I sat for 2 minutes the next day. And I did 5 minutes of my yoga and I sat more comfortably. Or, boy, my back hurts today, but about 2 minutes in, I started to get quiet. And so you're going to use a timer. You're going to sit for 2 minutes, 5 minutes, work up slowly. We'll talk about that another day. I hope that I've given you some resources to get started. The only things that I didn't mention are 2 journals. I have a journal from the time that I spend with my teachers. I have many of these, and I will write down some of their wisdom and some of their suggestions. And I have a little tiny journal that I throw with my yoga stuff, and I usually write down a posture, a couple postures that come together that I want to work on or go back to. So happy yoga practicing at home. Again, I'll put together some resources for you. You'll see a link for that pop up later. It won't happen right now, but that will happen later. Thank you and good luck.